Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Stott, I'm the Emperor of Stomaria, and today I'm going to be explaining why we have severed ties and condemned the Empire of Aeternia. Now, I was extremely hesitant to make this video because I hate beef. I hate drama. It's distracting and it's often a zero-sum game for those involved in it. In fact, this video that I'm making now is taking precedence over celebrating the recent alliance with the Kingdom of Athua and the upcoming state visits towards the end of this month. And I'm hoping that this is not going to be a major distraction from that. But the seriousness of this condemnation, it goes far beyond Emperor AP of Aeternia, raiding a Discord server or, making some risque comment or some other trivial nonsense which normally triggers some Micronations into declaring war or some sort of, post condemning that Micronation for some, again, just trivial nonsense. But this is, as far as I'm concerned, far more serious, and this condemnation is far more justified. But before I get to the reason, the rationale for this condemnation, for this severing of ties with Aeternia, I need to walk through our history with the Empire of Aeternia. Because for those who don't know, especially for the last 6-7 months, we have been trying to establish closer ties with the Empire of Aeternia, with the hope of forming an official alliance and building a trading relationship with them. And so this might, for a lot of people, seem to come out entirely out of the blue. But this is something that I am going to have to walk through with you, and then we'll get to the actual reason as to why this condemnation has occurred. So first contact with the Empire of Aeternia was actually made in December 2019 and January 2020. And it was only 1 or 2 emails exchanged at that point. I'm not even sure what we were discussing. It was, I'm sure, something to do with a potential trade deal or some form of cooperation or something to that effect. Because for those that know the Empire of Aeternia, they have quite a significant presence on YouTube. They're one of the largest active Micronational YouTube channels. And at the time, I don't remember if we were on YouTube at that point, but we certainly had a sizable following on our Facebook page. And I think probably closer collaboration on that front was something that we were potentially also discussing. I honestly can't remember, but the details aren't particularly important. Nothing came of it. Fast forward to 2021, we were in a position where we did have a noticeable presence on YouTube ourselves. And so I decided to contact Emperor AP with the intention of creating some collaborative content. Now, I formally applied for an alliance through Aeternia's website, and I think it was probably August, September time in 2021 that this happened. And we eventually did get a response, but that was through Discord, as I understand it. I don't think it was actually officially through email. I might be wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure we did have some email conversations, but nothing significant happened until after September, because in September I agreed to be interviewed by Emperor AP for his YouTube channel. And, you know, obviously happy to do that, to sort of raise awareness of Stomaria and, you know, help out Aeternia. So, you know, it's all fine. People like it when, you know, micronational leaders, you know, have chit-chats with one another, discussing micronationalism or their respective micronations. So that wasn't an issue for me. And soon after that, we sort of settled on an initial trade deal where I would send one of our silver Stomarian staters along with some of our merchandise in return for some of their copper ingots, and potentially some of their merchandise as well. And this was agreed in principle, I believe, in sort of October, November time. And in December, that trade agreement was actually initiated when we sent a package containing the stater and the merchandise to Emperor AP, which was then received on the 12th or 13th of December, from memory. And in December, we also commissioned some artwork for Aeternia, where people probably have seen some of the artwork that we have done for Micronations, such as Wayward and Moorland, and obviously Stomaria itself, about a figure, normally the Micronational, the leader of that Micronation, holding a flag and waving in the breeze and all the rest of it. It's quite nice artwork, and Emperor AEP and Aeternia were the first ones that we trialed this with, and so we sent that to them in December. So there was a genuine effort to make an impression and to actually build closer ties between the two Micronations in order to formalize something in terms of a formal alliance, a formal trade agreement, and create collaborative content with one another. And then fast forward to April 2022, and we're here with me outright condemning Aeternia, with severing ties entirely with Aeternia. And so, you know, what happened? So the early warning signs, I think, were there. I probably didn't want to see them because I was too heavily invested in trying to make this work, trying to make this friendship work, trying to make this relationship work. Because every tie that we can have with another Micronation, which has some semblance of credibility, is a win for everyone involved. And so trying to sort of ignore any feelings I might have had, trying to ignore any little warning signs, any red flags that might have cropped up, that was necessary in order for this sort of alliance to keep on track, or the pursuit of this alliance to keep on track. I suppose the first red flag, I suppose, was the interview, in that, again, it wasn't a major deal, in that we had the interview, but we weren't credited at all with it, if you see what I mean. Like, in the description of a YouTube channel, if you're interviewing someone, you'll normally say, you know, follow this link to see this guy, and all the rest of it. We didn't have that. It wasn't a big deal. A few weeks later, I messaged Emperor AP, and I said, look, we've shared your video on our Facebook page because the Facebook algorithm, it hides YouTube videos from our audience. Very, very few people, very few Stomarian supporters are actually seeing this interview, and I would like more people to see it. So I said, would it be okay if I took this interview of me and shared it on our YouTube channel? And he said no. And I thought, well, okay, I mean, is it an interview of me? But, you know, fair enough. That's fine. We'll sort of sweep that under the rug, don't worry about it. And then when, on the same topic of videos, when he actually received the stater, Emperor AP received the stater and the merchandise, he did a little unpacking video, you know, showcasing some of the Stomaria merchandise and everything. Again, didn't sort of link to any of our channels or groups or websites or anything like that in the description of the YouTube channel, which again is, I feel like is common practice. If you're discussing a particular Micronation in that way, or a particular person or a particular group, I think it's quite common practice to give them, you know, some sort of shout out or credit in that way. But again, I didn't make a big deal of it. I don't think I even mentioned it in the end because it just wasn't that important. And then the artwork that we completed and sent in December, there were a few revisions to the artwork that were sent to Emperor AP. But when I actually sent the final design that we'd spent some weeks sort of organising and putting together and working with the artist to make sure it was right, when I sent the final design, it wasn't even acknowledged, much less got any thanks for. And again, I thought that was a bit, weird. But again, I didn't make a big deal of it. It wasn't the end of the world. Just keep on tracking, keep everything on track. Don't rock the boat, just keep on pushing. But the main issue, the primary cause for this condemnation, this severing of ties, was the trade agreement itself. So when Emperor AP received our package, received our silver, received our merchandise, he sent me a photo of the package along with a message saying, "Thanks very much, your package is now finished, just putting the final touches on it, and then it'll be sent in the following week." And I thought, great, perfect. A few weeks, trade agreement complete, sorted. We can form an alliance, go on from there. After a few weeks, I got another message saying, sorry, it's not going to be sent until, it's not going to be finished until January. And then it'll be, we'll send it off soon after that, and then we'll receive it in January. I thought it was already finished. It's fine, don't worry. Just probably these final touches are taking a bit longer than expected. We'll receive it in January. January comes, still nothing. I messaged Emperor AP. I said, just wanted an update about the package. And he said that's because of the number of Etsy orders, his Imperial Market orders. Apparently there was a backlog of those, and he wanted to clear them before he sent our package. And I was slightly taken aback. I was like, well, okay, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't take all that much effort to post a completed package, but, fine, go and do what you need to do. And then February comes, same thing. Got a backlog of Etsy orders. I'd rather get those prioritized over your package. All right, fine, okay, but this is going to get sent, isn't it? It's ready. And then come March, he just acknowledges it. He doesn't even say it's going to be sent at some point. He just says, just so you know, yeah, I remember, I do have a package to send you. And just keep in mind, I initiated all of these conversations. At no point did Emperor AP send me an update on these off his own back. I had to inquire as to whether or not this package had been sent. I had to inquire as to why it had not been, received by us yet. And then it came to April. Now, at this point, even though I have grave reservations because of the delays of this trade agreement, I am still hopeful for some sort of closer collaboration. So I messaged Emperor AP. I don't think I even mentioned the package in sort of late March, early April, and I said, do you want to do some sort of collaborative video, or do you want to do a meeting with myself, Queen Neve of Seleucia, King Raoul of Wayward, Prince Alexander of Moreland, have a little Micronational online meeting, record it or something to that effect, and that would be something that could be shared about. And he said, yep, that's absolutely fine. And then, so brilliant. I'll discuss it in the next meeting that I have with Seleucia, Wayward, and Moreland, which are all a part of the Empire of Stomaria. They're all Micronations in their own right, but they form a part of Stomaria, so I'm in regular contact with them. So in the actual meeting itself that I had with Seleucia, Moreland, and Wayward, the question of Aeternia came up, and I put to them, should we have this collaborative video? We'll record it, it'll be fine, and then we'll just post it out there. And it'll be shared about, be good publicity, these Micronational leaders coming together, having a chat about Micronationalism. People will enjoy it, it'll be productive, it'll build closer ties with Aeternia, everyone's a winner. Now, some of the responses that I got were less than encouraging, because I'm not going to name names, but some of the participants of that meeting highlighted the fact that Aeternia was very much a meme micronation from its inception. If you go to look at any of their earlier work, it is a meme micronation. There are no two ways about it. You have Emperor AP banding his hair at the front of his head and calling it a narwhal tusk, saying that it's going to be used to defend Aeternia from hostile micronations. You've got him he's talking to inanimate objects for interview purposes. And he has, some of his introductions, too many to count, but one that always sticks with me is one about one of his economic videos or monetary videos. And the intro to that is a screaming clown. So yeah, it's not a great look for a micronation, especially if you're going to start off doing that, but then later on try to position yourself as a more serious micronation. And some of the participants of that meeting just had some reservations about that. I mean, how serious is Aeternia about this? Are they just doing it for, the lols, or is there something more to it? Because if anyone was to look at any of their earlier content, they would think that it was just a joke. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but those aren't the sorts of micronations that we're looking to affiliate with. So that was one of the questions that was highlighted. And it's not like Aeternia is shy about this issue, about these sort of meme culture that they've sort of embraced. Because, I mean, if you ever go to their YouTube channel, you will see the featured video is of the one micronation that they have ever allied with, which is a meme micronation. But not just any meme micronation, it is a Marxist-Leninist micronation. And in the video, you can see this young man and Emperor AP shaking hands, forming this alliance. And in the background are these two red banners. One has an enormous picture of Stalin's head on it, and the other one is the flag of the Korean Workers' Party, which, for those that don't know, is the governing party of North Korea. Now, I have my own views on communism, but anyone that tries to defend Stalinism, anyone that tries to defend North Korea, I don't know what to tell you. But they are, as I said, quite a meme-like micronation. But the fact that Aeternia's only ally is this other micronation, the fact that they had no issue posing in front of these flags, shows, I don't know, and the fact that it's featured as their primary video on their YouTube channel. I mean, that's a red flag. And that's, again, something that I did myself try to ignore for the benefit of trying to build closer ties with a micronation that I thought was genuine and I thought was serious, or had become genuine and serious. But this was a major issue for the other micronations in that meeting. And so this was something that I put to one side. I was like, all right, okay, well, to be fair, it's not just that. There's also this trade agreement issue. And so they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, this has been going on for 4 months, nearly 5 months at this point. And they said, what do you mean it's been going on for 4 months? Well, I said, and I explained everything that I just explained to you. And they said, Andrew, something's not right here. That this is not normal. This isn't the way a person conducts themselves in micronationalism or in the real world at all. This isn't right. And so, I was there defending Aeternia, defending Emperor AP. I was the lone voice standing up and saying, well, he's got this going on, he's got that going on, and they just wouldn't have any of it. So I said, all right, look, what I'll do is I will highlight some of these concerns and to Emperor AP, to Aeternia, and what we'll do is I'll suggest that we have a meeting, all of us together, and we'll hash this out. We'll discuss it. We'll see, make sure we're all on the same page, make sure we iron out the details as to how this is going to work, make sure that there's no confusion as to who wants what, and all of that. And so the meeting was concluded. Fine. I sent a message to Emperor AP, and that's when things started to really kick off. So the message that I sent to Emperor AP was it was relatively long, but it was also quite concise in the sense that a lot of the message was going, don't worry, this is not an attack on you, this is not an attack on Aeternia. What it is that the associated and observer states within Stomaria are concerned about what this alliance really is. They're concerned about what Aeternia really is. They just need a bit of reassurance that what we're getting into isn't going to affect us in a negative way. And I reiterated again and again, don't worry, this isn't an attack on you. I'm looking to build this relationship. I'm looking to build this friendship. We just need to make sure that all of these details are ironed out. And I listed 4 points that were highlighted at the meeting. And the points were, first and foremost, this trade agreement. This has been going on for 4 months now. Where are we standing with this? If you're looking to build an actual trading relationship with us, we can't operate like this. We can't operate with this open-ended, I'll get to you at some point sort of way of doing things. We need to conclude this, and then we need to think of a way to make this more efficient going forward. The second issue was that a lot of the Micronations were concerned about Aeternia's stance in trying to build a homogenous Micronation, a homogenous cultural Micronation, that is to say, in the sense that they believed that Aeternia's position, where Micronations should effectively be dissolved and the Micronationalists should simply be incorporated into Aeternia to build one Micronation, to build one cultural identity. The Empire of Stomaria, we're obviously a Micronation of Micronations. We encourage cultural diversity. We encourage each Micronation's own identity, and we don't try to lessen that. We're simply unified by our, some of our common held beliefs in the pursuit of reducing reliance on the Micronations that we're a part of, in building a trade network, in sort of building those communities, and that's what ties us all together. Now, so that was one of the other points. The third point was that a lot of the earlier content, as I mentioned before, was quite meme-like. It was very cringy, and they just needed reassurance, even though they did acknowledge that some of the content that he posts now was a lot more sort of mature, a lot more level-headed, a lot more rational, and a bit more in line with what we strive to do. A lot of his earlier content was not. And they just needed reassurance that, are you serious about this? Is this genuine? Because if anyone was to watch half of the content on Aeternia's YouTube channel, then they would think that it wasn't, frankly. And then finally, there was just the issue of, you want to trade in a relationship with us, that's absolutely fine, but we're a bit concerned about the cost-effective nature of this. It's understandable, they're in the United States, we're in the UK, international postage, all that jazz. As a token basis, it's fine. But as a long-term trade agreement, if we want copper ingots, we can buy copper ingots, either from Micronations in the UK or just from the UK itself. I mean, the idea obviously is to reduce reliance on the Micronation itself. But if you're going to be paying 50 times the copper's worth in, postage and packaging and all the rest of it, then it's not really economical in any sense of the word. There are limits to how deficient the sort of the trading relationship is before it just becomes impossible to maintain. So those were the 4 points highlighted. Now, the response, I was expecting something along the lines of, yeah, no problem, Andrew, we'll hash it out, keen to make this work, so on and so forth. I did not get that response. What I got was a message which basically scoffed at the very idea that Aeternia would have to justify itself to Stomaria, or to the Stomarians that are involved in the project. The comment that was, I believe, repeated is that he found these questions, this approach, to be very hurtful to him. And he finished off, not once mentioning the trade agreement, the completion of this trade agreement, the conclusion of this trade agreement. He didn't mention that at all in his response, but he just finished off with saying, I wish you all well for the future. His message, his response to these queries, these legitimate concerns, was to sever ties with Stomaria, to break off relations with Stomaria. And I was initially surprised, then disappointed, then quite angry, because I feel like I'd just been conned. All this time, all this effort, all these financial resources, all these sort of merchandise that I provided to Aeternia and gotten very little in return, and he's just walked off because some legitimate concerns that have been highlighted upset him. Now, I am not one for confrontation. I don't like it. I don't like, as I said, I don't like beef. I don't like hostilities. I don't like drama. And so I said, right, fine. If you want to walk away, but this trade agreement needs to be concluded. I cannot leave this open-ended because this has been going on for long enough and I'm tired of playing games. This package has to be sent. Please tell me when it can be sent. And his response to that was, I'm not going to be held to a deadline. I'll send it when I'm ready to send it. And that aggravated me further, and the Micronations involved in Stomaria further. Because at this point, he's saying, I will honour this trade agreement whenever I choose. And I'm not even, this isn't even an exaggeration. I will post, if need be, screenshots of this entire conversation if there are any people who would doubt it. I don't typically like doing things like that because I like to think that when I have private conversations with someone, they stay private. But this is something different. This is necessary in order for me to make our position clear, to make our condemnation of Aeternia justifiable. This is something that has happened. Now, I tried again about 4 or 5 days later. I said, look, I need to have this trade debacle sorted. And I said, forget about Aeternian merchandise. Forget about the ingots. If it's not ready, fine. I don't care. I don't want them. Just send back our stater, send back our merchandise. And he said, again, he said no. He said, I don't have the money. And he initially said, I don't have the time to make these artifacts. But they were already finished. And then he said, I don't have the money to send the package. Now, keep in mind, and this is something I haven't touched on yet, but keep in mind, during the entirety of this time, Emperor AP has done, in terms of time, has done live streams about the relations, the breakdown of relations between Dracul and Cyclodia. He made, I don't know, it must have been 6 or 7 hours of footage, live stream footage about this, because that needed to take priority over concluding this trade agreement. He purchased for $10,000 or $12,000 or something to that effect, land, but he didn't have the money to send us our package. And I told him, in no uncertain terms, what you have done is show nothing but a blatant disrespect to us. Instead of concluding this trade agreement in good time, what you have done is you have pushed us so far down the list that everything else has taken precedence. Aeternia has taken precedence over concluding a debt that you owe to us. Now, again, just to reiterate, all of these updates over the course of the months, I had to initiate. He never told me anything about the package unless I asked about it. And in the meantime, he's spending, in excess of $10,000 on this plot of land. He's spending, 6-7 hours or whatever it is, having these conversations about 2 micronations that he has absolutely no association or affiliation with. He has as many hours, I think, of him digging a hole in the middle of a random wood and saying that this is a test for one of his shelters. I mean, from the outside looking in, this appears just to be a con. Now that the sort of the veil of me trying to justify Aeternia's decisions, now that the veil of trying to establish a genuine relationship with a micronation and a micronationalist, which I thought was serious, which I thought was genuine, which I thought was honest, which I thought was transparent, now that that's gone, I can see it. It was a way of extracting what they could from Stomaria in terms of publicity, in terms of artwork, in terms of merchandise, in terms of prestige, I suppose, but then giving nothing back. And again, this is the reason for this condemnation. This is the reason that I am making this video. Because what Emperor AP has done is effectively stolen our merchandise, stolen our stater, refused to send their package to us in good time, or even set some sort of approximate date where it would be sent, and then they've just walked off. And that's all it is. He was quite prepared to walk away without concluding this. And it was only when I highlighted the fact that it needed to be concluded that he even responded. And when he responded, He said, I'll send it whenever. So we look forward to receiving the package in 2037, because that will probably be a good time when he will be ready to send the package. Because we're a bit, it really, really has bothered me, like more than I thought it would, because this is a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of financial resources that has been allocated to the promotion of Aeternia, and they've walked away because we had genuine concerns that were just brushed aside, dismissed out of hand. And yeah, I think this is not just a warning for anyone that wants to deal with Aeternia in that way, but this is a warning for micronations that are looking to build real-world relationships. Because this is the first time this has ever happened to us, but it won't be the last time it happens to someone else. If you are prepared to send merchandise or financial resources or whatever else to another micronation, make sure what you are doing is airtight. Make sure it's all above board. Make sure there are, if necessary, legal ramifications for a breakdown of that relationship, be it a trading relationship or the purchase of something, whatever it may be, because this has irked me in a big way. I just feel like I've been conned, and I feel an idiot for it. But yeah, this video has gone on longer than I wanted it to, but I just wanted to make it as clear as I can that the final message that I sent to Emperor AP was that you have taken advantage of our goodwill. You have ruined Aeternia's image for us, and I don't want to receive any of your packages anymore. I don't want for you to send our merchandise back. I don't want you to send our merchandise. What you are doing is you are playing games. You are delaying things. You're continuing this open-ended, I will get to you whenever I fancy it sort of attitude, and you are making a mockery of the entire process. So keep the merchandise, but we will be making a statement about this. We will be exposing this to as many micronations and micronationalists as possible, and that is what we are doing now. So if you want to show support to the Stomarian community, if you want to become a part of the Stomarian community, then please feel free to do so through our Patreon campaign, the link of which I shall leave in the description below as always. There is also the details of the other micronations involved in Stomaria in the description, and I would encourage you to go and look at and even join those micronations if they are preferable to you. Otherwise, if you did enjoy this video, then please feel free to give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.